Good morning and welcome one and all. Hello to Garden America Nation. We are back on the air. Tiger gives the thumbs up. John Bagnasker, Tiger Palafox, I'm Brian Main. Welcome and good morning. I see the old computer there is working so we can package this show up and send it to Biz Talk Radio. That's always a good thing. Hope you had a good week and welcome to the weekend. We've got a great show lined up for you today. We're very confident when we say a great show. That means there's a lot of confidence and fortitude in what we deliver to our Garden America Nation, Tiger.
Good vocabulary word, fortitude.
You like that, huh?
Yeah.
Welcome to the fortress, the Garden America fortress.
Isaac's 6 years old now, and so it's just
he looks 10.
You right? You see that picture?
Yeah.
It's a constant. What does that mean? State.
Oh, that's good.
Meaning, like, he's looking at signs and he asks what that word is, or he hears a word and constantly wants to know what it means. So I'm having to go back to my dictionary.
But see,
days.
that's good. That's a thirst for learning.
It is.
That's
it is good, but it's exhausting as a parent.
Wait, but here's the thing. Tiger's learning the words.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on, son.
It's so nice we have our phones with us to Google what it means, right?
You should say, you're very inquisitive, aren't you?
Right?
Now, what about the why stage? I remember that with my son. Well, we're going to do the why.
So,
that was an awkward stage.
Tasia is 11, and that's the why stage, because it's kind of a little bit more of the attitude, like you ask her to do something, she just looks at you. Why? Isaac is just like, okay, he might not be happy about it, but he just says okay. But it's the constant.
Well,
why?
I'm talking.
Why do I have to?
More about like not so much like what she's using the why.
You're saying
for.
why?
Hey, the sky's blue. Why? Well, because that's the way God. Whatever. And okay, we're going to go to the store. Why? But I know why Tasia is like, why do I have to do that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's different raising kids today than when we were growing up.
Well, you can't hit them today.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because the answer to why would be because it would be far less painful for you.
And here's the one.
Oh, gosh,
here's the
right?
one that a lot of adults, I think even my mother and father used to use this on me, because I said so.
I use that a lot.
Because I said so.
Yeah, just do it.
I remember
Please.
doing this. I remember this, asking for something. My folks would say, "We'll see."
Yeah.
And I'd come back and say, "When are we going to see?"
Yeah.
Are we going to see now? No, not now. Well, when are we going to see? I took it literally. You said we were going to see. When? Because that's a brush off.
That is.
We'll
it is.
see.
It really is. Oh, I use that all the time, too. He'll be like, hey, when can we go and do this? I'm like, I don't know. We'll see.
I remember promising my kids something, Joe in particular.
They don't forget, John.
And, the next day, I'd say, well, we'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the next day he'd say, are we going to do this? And I said, no, maybe tomorrow. He goes, today is tomorrow.
How old was he then?
He was probably 6.
See?
6 years old.
Exactly. You're so literal at that time. Your
Yeah.
parents said something, then that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, but I had a fun weekend because I took them to Balboa Park to go to the San Diego Japanese Friendship Garden.
You posted a great video.
Yeah,
on our
that
Facebook
kind of
page.
cut off I saw, so I didn't realize that.
It did cut off, but for those of you that want to watch about a minute and a half, it's good.
And
that's long enough.
The photographer was Tasia. She did a great job, huh?
I said to Tiger,
why?
I said, I thought Tiger set up a tripod because the camera was still, and he said, no, Tasia was my photographer. I'm like, really? So great job.
Yeah, if Isaac would have done it, it would have been all over the place. The phone would have ended in the river.
He'd have been taking pictures of the sky.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you use some type of app or just your regular video?
Just my regular video.
Just the phone.
Because they have the stabilizers in some of the apps, but now they're built into the phones, I guess.
And again, if you want to do a video when we're together, we can do edits and cuts as we go.
Yeah, so more videos to come.
Right.
We're going to try to do more fun stuff like that.
Hey, we also want to talk about our YouTube page because you out there in Facebook land, we need to get followers. We need you to like our page. We need you to share our videos with people when you watch them on YouTube. Right, Tiger?
Yeah, because we're trying to boost our postings there so we can go live on YouTube as well at the same time.
And we want to take the show to various places. I know we talked about John's estate.
Yeah, different garden centers.
Different garden centers.
Different public gardens.
So do us a favor. Like our Facebook page. Have your friends like our Facebook page. Like our YouTube page, Garden America Radio Show. And otherwise, you'll turn Facebook on one day and we're not going to be here. It's going to be dark.
It's going to be a sad
It's going to be a sad
day. That would be sad. So what
On
are we
that
going to
note-
do today? Who are we going to talk to?
We're going to talk to Marissa Rodriguez.
Marissa Rodriguez?
Yeah, from the North American Japanese Garden Association. They have a great event taking place here November 3rd through 7th in San Diego. that is a conference that they host to teach people about Japanese garden, sustainability in Japanese gardens, and just the concept of the public gardens in general as well. So, we're going to be talking about that conference and what people can do if they want to sign up or if they want to go virtual on it and different other aspects of the conference.
And
so
I
that's
would
November
imagine
3rd through 7th.
in the course of the conversation, learning about Japanese gardens, what are they, what sets them apart, what makes them different.
Yeah.
So wherever
Lots
you
of
are
fun
in the
stuff.
country, you can be part of it. Is that what you're saying?
I believe I just got a link, so we're going to talk to Marissa about that today because I just got a link that there might be a virtual aspect of it as well.
Beautiful. And of course, whatever you want to talk about as far as what's going on in your garden as we get into the cooler months. Some places, I guess it's snowing already in some states. John, you're the weather guy. You're Mr. Microclimate.
Nome is full of snow.
Well, usually most of the year, but I think in some of the 48 contiguous states, we've got a little bit of snow. I think in Wyoming, my son said he was starting to see some flurries.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's that time of year. My daughter, sent me pictures from Idaho, and the
Snow?
fall colors. No snow, but the fall colors were beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah, the only fall colors we have here, 163 South, for the most part. There's other...
The sycamores?
Yeah.
The sycamores that are turning
Exactly.
ugly. They don't
And
even turn beautiful.
It's like, wait a second. This is the only part of San Diego we actually see the changing of the seasons.
Usually the deciduous trees color up in San Diego December, right?
Yeah.
Around
Yeah.
December.
That's when our biggest, I think, fall color tree in San Diego is a liquid amber. And
Right.
like you say, they don't turn
Right.
till December, but it's funny because it's only like a month because it's pretty much December.
And that's
then,
it.
And then in January, they all start losing their leaves.
And we'd like to hear from you, too. What's happening in your, as we say, your neck of the woods
Yeah.
as far as what's growing and some of the fall colors and the weather. Now, John disappointed us this morning because shortly before we went on the air, he said Thursday it's going to get back up to 88 degrees.
But on Monday, it's supposed to rain.
Okay, that's something to look forward to.
Right.
I like the cool weather now.
90% chance of rain.
It's keeping us on our toes, right?
I get- well-
you go out every day and it's
Look at the
something
plants.
new.
I like it because I only have to water about once a week now.
Right.
Once or twice a week. But when I get home today, it's going to be water time again.
Daylight savings time is coming up again soon, right?
I would say early November.
Oh, is it? John usually keeps us
Because
up to date on
it's
that,
already
so.
getting dark earlier.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And it's staying dark in the morning longer.
Oh. This morning I woke up to come here and I was like, it's too early.
You thought it was the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Hey, we should get to the quote
All
because it's rather long.
I was just thinking of drought tolerant. Going to learn about drought tolerant plants. Going to see the movie Dune tonight.
You're a funny guy.
I'm looking forward to it.
John has actually, this is an excerpt from a book, what it seems.
Well, I picked this quote because we're going to be talking about Japanese gardens.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting. It was a quote from Red Skelton.
Right. I was a kid. I thought his name was Red Skeleton.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too.
Red Skeleton.
So he said, when anyone hurts us, my wife and I sit in our Japanese garden, our sand garden, and drink iced tea. There are 5 stones in the garden for sky, wind, fire, water, and earth. We sit and think of 5 of the nicest things we can about the person who hurt us. If he hurts us a second time, we do the same thing. The third time, we light a candle, and he is, for us, dead.
He's a funny guy. He's also a great painter, too. I think he did watercolors.
He did clowns. That was his
That's right.
thing.
Yeah, right.
The
Exactly.
clown paintings, yeah. But I thought there was a great sentiment there that, instead of getting mad right away, relax.
Mm-hmm.
Think of 5 things that person, good things about that person, right? Like, maybe he grows good roses.
Red Skeleton.
He's a little thorny, but he does grow nice flowers.
There you go.
I saw on YouTube, this is back in the 60s, of course, on his show, and I guess the Rolling Stones were on. So back then, they were the rebels, the parents, your kids stay away from them. And, of course, when it introduces them, there's always the joke, and I thought, wow, if he only knew now, they're close to 80.
Yeah.
They're still doing it, and they're great-grandparents now.
Wow.
Just the whole... the whole psychological aspect of that from, 60 years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
They're good grandparents. I don't know about great.
Good?
They're-
Not great?
Yeah, they're not great.
Okay, we're getting close to the end of this segment.
yeah. But we'll be
Did I
having
hear a round of
Marissa joining
applause?
us when we get back, right?
Marissa's going to be joining us talking about Japanese gardens. Feel free to chime in if you hear something, a question or comment during the interview or even during the show. Let us know, and we will answer that question. So post everything on Facebook. Those on Biz Talk Radio, quick reminder, you can watch us live on Facebook every Saturday, 11 o'clock Eastern, and 8 o'clock or so Pacific time zone. Just go to our Facebook page, Garden America Radio Show. With that in mind, it is break time. This is Garden America. Stay with us. Our guest is next. Brian Main, John Begnasco, Tiger Palafox here on Garden America. Okay, here we go. Those on Biz Talk Radio, we want to thank you for listening to our many sponsors who support this show here on Garden America. Facebook Live, get ready. And again, questions, comments. You hear something you want more information about or a curious question, comment right there on our Facebook page. And with that in mind, and I've got to hit a few buttons, Tiger, so maybe just extend this introduction a little bit longer. Something I forgot to do, so you go ahead, Tiger.
All righty. So this morning we're going to have Marissa Rodriguez from the North American Japanese Garden Association joining us because they have a wonderful conference coming up. And, talk about a great time to have a conference in San Diego is definitely November. But they're going to be having this conference going in November 3rd through 7th at the San Diego Japanese Friendship Garden. Good morning, Marissa. How are you doing?
Good morning. Pretty good. Thank you for having us on.
Yeah. Did you see some of the pics that I took from my yesterday's ventures to the garden?
Yes, absolutely. They're wonderful.
The one thing that I was so shocked, and I've been to, growing up here in San Diego, I've been to Balboa Park a number of times, and in the garden a number of times. But the cool thing about the garden is I kind of feel like they're always doing something. So it's always changing. And there was a whole area that was under construction. I imagine they're putting in a whole new little pavilion and look like an extension of the water feature. So I imagine there's going to be a new section of the garden. But that's just so neat that it's just always ever adapting, always changing.
No, you're absolutely right. In fact, I'm fortunate to be working now with the North American Japanese Garden Association. But actually, I also was fortunate to work at the Japanese Friendship Garden just prior to that for about 10 years, and it was amazing to see the growth that we went through in that time and that they're continuing to go through. So actually the area that you saw yesterday under construction is a brand new tea garden.
Wow.
And actually it'll be partially under construction during our conference. Some of our participants will get to participate and observe a stone arrangement workshop where they'll actually be placing the stones for the water feature that will go into that tea garden area. So yeah, it's really amazing to see the growth over the last even 10 years.
Yeah. So tell us about this conference. What is this conference? Why are you guys hosting it? What can people learn from it if they are planning to attend it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the conference, basically, my organization, the North American Japanese Garden Association, hosts a biennial conference, so every 2 years, to bring the Japanese garden community together. And it's the largest convening internationally of Japanese gardens. This year with COVID, it's really going to be more of a domestic audience, mostly folks from the U.S., a few folks from Japan, but typically we also have people from Europe, from Canada, from Australia, and other parts of the world. So it really is an amazing opportunity to meet professionals, folks from other public gardens, garden enthusiasts, everybody who loves Japanese gardens comes together for this conference. And we're going to do lectures about all kinds of things surrounding Japanese gardens. We'll have workshops, like I said, the one in the tea garden, where you can actually see the stones being placed in that new tea garden. We're going to have a series of walks. We have like a pruning walk and talk and a couple wellness walks to take you through the garden. So it really is just an amazing experience to learn more about Japanese gardens and to connect with folks in the Japanese garden world.
Now, one of the things I mentioned it yesterday when I was doing the video there, but you guys were going to focus on some of the sustainability aspects of it at this conference, and for me, Japanese gardening has always been about sustainability. From the aspects of using natural stones or wood to retain walls or create steps, the landscape principles that they kind of follow. And so, I think it's kind of neat that you mentioned that as far as part of the conference, because I don't think people always recognize, that when they're walking through the garden, they look at the aesthetic aspect of it, but they don't realize the sustainability aspect of it. And I mean, for instance, bamboo, we all know that, bamboo is a very popular Japanese garden aspect, the deer knockers, the fencing, the plant itself as a whole. But in the garden, you guys create, rails out of it to keep people out of certain beds. They were creating retaining walls out of it, rather than bringing in concrete blocks or anything. They use it for retaining walls as well. Like, so when it comes to sustainability, I definitely feel like that style of landscaping goes hand in hand, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Sustainability is definitely very much tied to Japanese gardens. And it's interesting, too, because one of the principles that you'll see in Japanese gardens is that they really want to use, material that's local, plant material, stones, everything that's kind of as local as possible to the location where the garden is built. So the garden here in San Diego is going to be very different from a garden up in, the Northwest or the Pacific Northwest or the Northeast, the Southeast. And in every region, you're going to see really, drastic differences because they're trying to use the local materials to build a garden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, I thought that aspect of sustainability was important for people to learn about. So, I mean, in this conference, I'm sure, as you mentioned, that they're going to be learning about stone placements and things. I'm sure they're going to be learning about different materials they can use as well. So how could people find out more information about this event? I want to make sure we hit this a couple times talking.
Definitely. And people can still register. So if anybody's listening in and wants to join us, either, locally here in San Diego, or as you were saying, Tiger, it's, a great time to visit San Diego. November weather is wonderful. Go to our website. We have a website specifically for the conference. It's najga.org. So it's all the initials of North American Japanese Garden Association, najga.org/SD for San Diego 2021. So najga.org/SD 2021. You can also call me. Our phone number is 503-222-1194. Again, 503-222-1194, and I can get you registered. Or, answer questions if you have, don't be shy. If you have questions before you register, feel free to call me. I can also be reached via email at info@najga.org. So info like information, and then again at najga.org. Please, if you're interested, don't hesitate to reach out. We still are allowing registrations probably for about the next half a week at the most. But the conference is, I don't think we mentioned, the conference is November 3rd through the 7th. So the lectures, workshops, walks are all happening November 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And then we'll actually do tours of Southern California gardens, so tours of LA on Saturday and tours of San Diego on Sunday. And if you're, for example, only interested in the tours, you can absolutely just sign up for the tours. Or if you're only interested for the 3 days of lectures and workshops, you can also do that as well.
Oh, wow.
And
so
everything.
So you guys are actually going to be going and visiting other gardens throughout Southern California as well.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, Marissa, we're going to have to take a quick break here in just a minute. When we get back, we'll continue talking with Marissa Rodriguez from the North American Japanese Garden Association about their upcoming conference. And also, did I see something, I think, that talks about a virtual aspect of it, too? So when we get back, we'll talk more about that.
Absolutely. And those on Facebook Live watching us right now, questions, comments, we'd love to hear from you. That said, we're going to take a break and come back. Biz Talk Radio, Facebook Live. We've got messages on Biz Talk Radio. No messages on Facebook Live. We're going to be right back here with Garden America on your Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, depending upon where you are and how you're listening. Stay with us. Right back here on Garden America. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome if you're just joining us. If you're a first-time listener or a first-time viewer, we welcome you as well. If you are first-time, we'll get into more about what we're all about later on. But right now, we are all about the Japanese gardens, Tiger.
Yeah, we're talking with Marissa from the North American Japanese Garden Association about their conference coming up next month. And before the break, Marissa, you mentioned that part of the conference is actually being able to go to different gardens in Southern California. Can you give us a little hint about which gardens you will visit aside from the San Diego one?
Absolutely. So on Saturday, November 6th, we'll be going up to LA and we'll be visiting 4 gardens, Brand Park in Glendale, Stoyer Stearns in Pasadena, and the Scanso Gardens. They have a Japanese garden within their larger botanical garden, as well as Isamu Noguchi's California Scenario in Orange County. So it'll be a really packed day, but a good opportunity to learn more about Japanese gardens in different places in LA. For San Diego, we'll be starting our tour actually at the Carl Strauss Brewery up in Sereno Mesa. It was a garden that was originally designed by Takeo Uesugi, who was also one of the principal designers of the garden in Balboa Park of the Japanese Friendship Garden. We'll be going up to Golden Door in North County. And then we'll be visiting a really cool new exhibit at the Coronado Historical Society, Coronado Historical Association on Coronado, about a historical Japanese garden that was there, I think, first in 1903.
Wow.
So it'll be kind of a cool way to see 2 existing gardens and to learn about a historical garden that was on Coronado.
Yeah, it's always good to start any tour at a brewery.
Well, have you ever been to that one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, they have this beautiful koi garden, and I mean, I think the facilities is modeled after like a kind of a pagoda kind of a look, kind of as well. So it is really neat. And then, Golden Door, I know Deborah Seike, who's a big participant in the gardens down there in San Diego. She, I think, was the first person or started the Golden Door Spa up there as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to say it was like in 1958 or something like that.
Yeah.
That she originally founded it. So really amazing history there.
Yeah. So, I mean, we do tours every once in a while around the world. We've gone to England, Italy, and things like that. And so for people that are, thinking about visiting, these are great opportunities to see these gardens and get behind the scenes stuff, get personal experiences there as well. So if you have an opportunity to do this, I highly recommend you do it. Now, I did see something this morning that came across an email. I don't know if you have info on it. Are they offering some of the conference to be a virtual aspect as well?
Yeah, and I'm so glad you mentioned that, actually. So this is our very first hybrid event. But yeah, absolutely. You can participate virtually in the conference. And we're actually working really hard to make sure that the lectures are all accessible live so that you can join and see it as they're happening in person. We're, just keeping our fingers crossed that technology doesn't fail us on those days. But, it all goes well. People will be able to participate live. But the virtual conference registration also gives you access to our library of recordings afterwards. Oh. So about a week or two, post-production time, we'll have all of the recordings posted. And we're also going to try to capture pieces of the workshops, the walks. We're going to have some informal stations with, like, the Koi Club of San Diego, the Bonsai Club of San Diego, So, really just amazing opportunities to learn more about Japanese gardens. But absolutely, for folks that are not able or not interested in coming in person, there is a virtual option.
Yeah, that's great to know for those people that are won't be able to travel or, just want to be able to participate from the comfort of their own home, to be able to know that there's ways to be a part of this as well. So, again, if you go to that website, we posted it on our Facebook link as well for more information. And Marissa, I might be speaking out of turn here, but if you need any tech support, I'm sure John Bagnosco here in the studio, he's our tech guy actually here, would be more than happy to come down and help you guys out. I know he's a whiz with all of that tech stuff.
Is. He's what keeps us on the air.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You know what I learned to do very easily, and it's not that difficult, is if I take that email and put forward to Tiger, it's no problem.
Yeah. It gets done.
Yeah, it's done. It's finished.
And any tech question, he just forwards it and boom, it happens.
Hey, we have a few questions. I don't know if we're
All right.
ready for questions.
Oh, yeah.
Marissa
Look at
yet.
this. Go ahead, John.
Okay, the first one is from Rick in Idaho, and he says that many of the plants in Japanese gardens require shade. And does the planting of the garden require you to have mature trees so that you have the shade requirement?
No, not at all. So Japanese gardens, can be designed in all kinds of climates. And if he contacts me, so I can be reached via that info@najka.org, the phone number. I'll try to connect them to people in his region. That's what we always try to do. And there's some regions where there's lots of people, and there's some regions where there's not as many. But to connect with local people within that region so that they can give them some advice on where to start. But no, absolutely, there's no, Japanese gardens can be created in any climate, anywhere, and you can start with whatever you have. So definitely just a question of kind of figuring out, what would work well locally.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at the, gardens yesterday, I definitely saw some shaded areas, but also some full sun exposures. And, sometimes I don't like to say any plant is basic, but, there were just pittosporums or other kind of plants that are still very in with the theme of a Japanese garden. But at the same time, they do well in, like you're saying, Marissa, like full sun exposure or, hot, dry areas, so like you mentioned, getting in touch with a local group to kind of know what plants can do well in your region with that theme is definitely something.
And that's one of the things that, NAJCA as an organization does is we're trying to build the network to connect people to other folks in their region and throughout North America and beyond that are working in the Japanese garden world.
Yeah, and you mentioned, do we have another question?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have kind of a follow-up question that goes along with Rick's, and this is from Spencer, and he doesn't say where he's located, but he says that his wife and himself just moved into a new home, and he's always loved Japanese gardens, so he has a two-part question. One, what are some good resources to designing a Japanese garden from scratch? And two, how close to the house's foundation can a Japanese maple safely be planted? So part of that, I think, part of that answer is what you told Rick, but might be worth repeating.
Yeah, definitely. So again, if Rick contacts me, we can try to get him set up with people that are in his general area. Other resources, we actually just merged with another organization, the Japanese Gardening Organization, and they had a lot of resources, including a Japanese Garden Handbook that has a lot of information, a lot of details about Japanese gardens on our website. But also there's, like, for example, the Sukiya Living magazine that comes out every other month. It's a great resource of content about Japanese gardens. So, Rick, please, shoot me an email, give me a call, and we can get you set up with additional resources as well as hopefully people in your region that you can connect with.
And the same applies to Spencer. Spencer, let us know where you live.
I'm sorry. It was Spencer. Rick was the first question. Spencer was the second question.
That's okay.
Sorry.
But yeah, we did, and we did post a link to the website. So if they are following on Facebook, they can click right there and be able to get in touch with the I don't want to say it wrong. Najda.
Najka.
Yeah.
Call it Najka, and some people say Najka. Either one is good.
Yeah.
And actually, just if anybody's on our website, so najka.org, there's a resource tab. there, and there's
Yeah.
a reference library. That's a really good source for a lot of content. The Japanese Garden Reference Guide, which is just lower down on that resource tab, that's the Japanese Garden handbook that I'm talking about, that just has a lot of details about Japanese gardens in general and would be a great place to start.
And then regarding the maple, John,
It depends on the variety, right?
yeah, because there's a lot of different ones that grow big or small, and the
right.
small ones you put it right up next to your house,
Right
no
next
problem.
to the house is no problem. Yeah. So, depending on the variety, try to find out what the mature height is going to be. And if the mature height is something under 4 foot, go right up next to the house.
Right.
But some Japanese maples, can be 15 feet, maybe, I don't know, as high as 20.
Right, and you can't put one of those right next to your house, and so definitely want to know the variety. We are going to have to take a break here in a minute. We'll still have Marissa joining us after the break. But one of the things I was going to mention about Japanese gardens, and they had it at the San Diego one as well, is sometimes it's just simple as just putting a sand pit in your backyard and a few rocks. And it really can be for anyone when you're looking at a Japanese garden. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll continue talking with Marissa from the North American Japanese Gardener Association.
You bet. Tiger speaks the truth. And those on Biz Talk Radio, thank you for tuning in, Facebook Live. Great questions from Spencer and Rick. Others, you can follow suit. Questions, comments here as we discuss Japanese gardens on Garden America. Like Tiger said, it is break time, and we're going to come right back, Facebook Live, but not until after these messages on Biz Talk Radio. All righty, having a good time here on Garden America, as we always do. By the way, those on Biz Talk Radio, this is the final segment of hour number 1. You've got news coming up top of the hour. We are back at 6 minutes after for those listening on Biz Talk Radio to this fantastic pre-recorded program. Japanese gardens. And, of course, Tiger, John, and myself and Marissa just learning a whole lot of stuff. And apparently you are, too, based on the questions and comments, Tiger, on Facebook Live.
Yeah, and we do have that follow-up question from Spencer. And, again, Marissa is joining us on the phone. I wanted to mention as we get back from the break, though, that, some people think when they hear, like, xeriscape garden, Southwest garden, Japanese garden, Mediterranean, that they have to have a yard for it. And out of any of these styles of gardening, I feel Japanese is the one that works best for even like a simple patio. When you're talking about potted plants, you can have bonsai, you can have different maples in potted plants and different bamboos, equisetums, and all of those do wonderful. Water feature. I mean, the one of the biggest hits for my kids when we were visiting the garden, Marissa, was the deer knocker right when you enter the
Of
gate.
course.
And all it is a piece of bamboo that gets filled with water, tips over, spills it out, and then knocks back.
Yep.
It's so simple. And so what I'm getting at is like
I
really
spent 4 hours watching that one time.
right.
He never saw the rest of the gardens.
Definitely very meditative.
Right.
And it's very simple to go with that theme in any environment, right, Marissa?
Absolutely. And actually, I think one of the things that I thought you were going to say, too, is that it can be done in a small space.
Yeah.
There's a specific name for a small garden, a suboniwa. It's Tsubo, niwa, and niwa just means garden, that, are tiny, can be, just a few feet by a few feet. Think of, homes in Tokyo or New York City where, you don't have a lot of yard space, but you can still create something really beautiful that evokes nature, that, can be relaxing and healing and for the enjoyment of everybody that lives with you.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely a thing for everyone, no matter who you are, if you want to go. Again, more information on the website or, attend the conference for more information. Spencer had a follow-up question about, plants for drought tolerant. I think, the San Diego garden, Spencer, the San Diego Friendship Garden, I'm sure is going to touch on this because we live in a Mediterranean climate,
Right.
and it's got to be low water
Yeah,
in general.
sure.
And right off the top of my head, one of the most popular plants for a Japanese theme garden is a juniper. And when you want to talk about low water plants, junipers are definitely a low water plant. So, the pines, the junipers.
Well, Spencer's also in Reading, too, so it's got to be something to deal with the heat, and junipers would be great for that, right?
Yeah. And, so there is a lot that can be more in that kind of low water environment. I'm trying to think, like I said, Pittosporum, the mock oranges, there was a lot of those yesterday when we were touring around. They did have, and I don't know if you know the garden much, but they had a lot of mondo grass in the shade, Marissa, but then they had this full sun exposure slope that was covered in, maybe it was a carex. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was kind of a meadow kind of grass. And so, carex panza is one that I know that loves the hot heat and is actually kind of a low water grass as well. So, so I think that there's a lot of opportunity. Do you have any other tips for Spencer?
Absolutely. And what I was going to say is part of it can be a little experimentation. I think I know which hillside you're talking about. And the garden, we had actually originally planted tea plants there, and they just didn't work that well because they were getting too much sun. And so there was a lot of trial and error on what, would work well in that area. And like I said, that's what, we try to do as a network to connect people to other folks in their region that have some experience. We're going to be posting a plant list on our website for different regions this next year. And when somebody pointed out to me, we not only want to include what works well, but what we've tried and hasn't worked well, because
true.
That can be just as valuable. So definitely, I think we don't know all the answers, but together we can kind of work together to get more information for everybody and see, what has been tried and what people recommend.
All right. All right. Lots of great information. And again, trying to drive people to your guys' website. And we posted that link on there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being open to our listeners answering questions,
absolutely.
By giving your email and the phone number to reach out to you as well. Good luck on your event. Marissa, are you going to be attending the event as well?
Yes.
Oh.
In fact, typically we'll be moving throughout North America. Our next conference is in Fort Worth and the following one in St. Louis, but I'm actually based in San Diego and very familiar with the garden. So this is kind of a fun year where my local garden is the one that's hosting it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, I will be there all 5 days for sure.
Well, thank you very much and have a good event. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Yeah. I love her energy. It's great.
Yeah.
Just wind her up and she goes.
Yeah, it's nice when people are passionate about it. And that's what it was. When I was even in the garden, just the people that were taking care of it, a lot of them are volunteers. And, I know that obviously they have to have paid staff as well. But as she mentioned, they're building this whole area, brand new area. And we're talking about putting in large rocks and retaining walls. And a lot of those are volunteers that want to just do it as part of a learning experience or being a part of the garden.
Are you going to get one of those little deer fountain things that you spent 4 hours looking at in your estate, John? I think that would be nice as you come up the driveway.
The deer fountain.
The deer fountain, yes.
I was thinking of replacing deer knocker. I was thinking of replacing my little boy going to the bathroom fountain.
With the deer knocker?
With the deer knocker. It'd be a lot more restful.
Yeah, and I think it's about time because the stream is getting less and less.
As he gets older.
Hey,
I wanted to mention quickly that if you Google how to make your Japanese garden drought tolerant,
all the plants that are available?
Well, there's a great article that comes up in a Southern California newspaper, and one of the gardens that they're talking about that did this is one of the gardens on the tour.
Oh, really?
Orange County.
Oh.
So there's some great information there, and if you register, you can get this information probably online, virtually, like we were talking about, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Excellent. Yeah, we had a little problem with your mic, but it's fixed now.
Oh,
we're good. So repeat exactly everything you just said.
No, you turned it on. Is that the problem?
No. Basically, there's a little connection here that's giving me problems.
Okay.
John says to go ahead and Google Japanese gardens, and it's a whole list of drought tolerant plants.
No, you Google how to make your Japanese garden drought resistant.
Okay, you want to say that again?
How to
Your
make
mic
your-
was off. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
How? So, and then also I wanted to mention that John posted online here that we were talking about how close you could put Japanese maple to your house.
Right.
And he said he has one that's 20 years old, a foot away from the house.
Yeah.
And it's only 8 feet tall after 20
After
years.
20 years. Hey, it is break time. We're up against the clock in terms of those on Biz Talk Radio. News coming up top of the hour, and of course, great sponsorships on Biz Talk Radio. We're back at 6 minutes after. Facebook Live. Stay with us. We're going to be coming right back. Questions, comments on perhaps Japanese gardens or other things as we continue here on Garden America, getting into the fall, winter months. So stay with us. This is Garden America for your weekend. Hey, those of you on Biz Talk Radio, welcome to hour number 2. Facebook Live time is never an issue. We just keep on rolling right along. It is 6 minutes after if you are tuned in on Biz Talk Radio. So, broadcasting live as we always do from the palatial iHeartMedia and Entertainment Studios, located right here in San Diego, California, the world domination iHeart headquarters, as we say.
Yeah.
Tiger, John. Tiger, quickly, before we get to these lovely flowers here, we do want to remind people tuning in and out all the time about our YouTube page. Go to Garden America Radio Show.
Yep.
It is on YouTube. You can watch all of our shows. Most important, please like it. Please share
Hit the
those videos
subscribe
with people and subscribe as we generate more listeners and more followers. And with that, we'll give you better content. We'll give you more expensive content.
There you go.
We're going to keep on just driving this show up as far as we can. A lot of people commenting, though, on these lovely flowers, Tiger. Let's
you
talk
like
about those.
The plumeria collection with a rose thrown in there
Love
as well.
the plumeria and the yellow, not yellow, more
Orange
of a
juice.
orange juice
Orange
rose,
juice
right?
Rose. Yeah. So I got a good shot right now on, if you're following on Facebook Live, on the plumeria collection I brought in. And as if you follow the show, you know that I like plumerias, and I'm gathering as many as I possibly can, like John gathers roses. But I'm at a critical time in the year for plumerias in San Diego County because it's getting cold now, where they're going to start finishing their flowering cycle. The leaves are starting to fall off. But there is one, and I don't have it here in my collection, and it's just going to bud. And I'm so disappointed
Just now getting ready.
Yeah, that it might not even bloom before it goes into winter. So, but for those of you that grow plumerias, I mean, what I would like some tips on is, because you get so many flowers, I mean, aside from making leis, what other flower arrangements? So if you have any plumeria flower arrangement ideas, send them my way. Because,
And let us know on Facebook this
Yeah.
morning.
Float them in bowls, right?
Yeah, can you just
Sure.
like I've seen that
camellias.
with camellia flowers,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, like
There you go.
something, because you get so many flowers off plumerias, it's wonderful.
Now, let me tell you this. The plumeria that I have in a big pot, it's huge. It's spread out. It's beautiful. I didn't get hardly any blooms this year. Is that lack of sunlight, John, Tiger?
And also because you didn't listen to us with the fertilizer.
Yeah.
No,
that
I
we
did.
told you to put on.
No, I did all that, but then I moved it in. I noticed
What
that
fertilizer did
I
you put on?
noticed that it wasn't getting enough sunlight, so I moved it into the patio because
what fertilizer did you use?
this. What's that?
He doesn't
What
want to
fertilizer?
answer the question because I don't
What do you mean,
think
what
he
fertilizer
listened
did
to
I
us.
use?
What fertilizer did you use?
But the one that John told me to use.
Which
Where did
one
you
is the
get it?
one?
Where did you get it?
I don't
You
recall.
can't just use milorganite on it.
No. What did I? It was a
It's
because I didn't last year. I didn't use any fertilizer.
isn't it called Hawaiian Bud and Bloom?
Yep.
Last year I
From
didn't use
Growmore.
any of that, and it bloomed wonderfully.
Yeah, some years, but if you use that, you're going to get more.
But
blooms.
this year, I noticed this time of the year is critical because the sun now is moving away from my patio.
although
So I had to move it toward the front.
although you did just get a new package from Tatiana, right, of fertilizers.
Yeah, and yes,
Okay.
and I
In that package of fertilizers, there is a blooming one.
There is. There's like several bottles. I got 4 or 5 different bottles.
Right. Well, but and it's too late now for the plumeria because they're wrapping
No,
up.
exactly.
But next year, you want to use that one that Tatiana
Maybe I used
gave
it too late.
Well, you just got it like last week.
Brian's
too
talking
late.
to you like he would talk to his teacher if he was in grade
No,
school.
like, because I
didn't
did-
turn in his homework.
I did do it. I did do it.
Because I
wanted to-
applied it. I applied all those things to like my hibiscus, the
Right,
plumeria.
but it's way too late. It
well,
was last
I only
week.
got it 2 weeks ago.
Well, I know, but that's what I'm saying. You
Brian,
should have
it's
been
all-
using your
it's all
plumeria
right.
fertilizer
It's
back
all
in the
right.
early spring.
But I didn't have any then.
It's
I didn't
okay.
have any then. You're missing the point. It's
Yeah.
a learning process. I
Well,
didn't-
How long have you
Lenore
been
is
doing a gardening
sympathizing
show,
with
Brian?
you. She says she's got the same problem, not too many blooms.
yeah, exactly.
So the reason why usually plumerias don't bloom are you're right, heavy shade, because they like a
They
lot
like
of
the sun,
sunlight.
yeah.
And then overwatering can also prevent them from blooming
Right,
as well.
right.
And then the last thing is for sure fertilization, and it's not just a across the board, all purpose fertilizer. They want a blooming.
It's
fertilizer.
specific. And it's huge. The thing is, it's spread out. It's huge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It seems like it's healthy, and it's probably just lacking.
It's
that
exactly
fertilizer.
very
Because
healthy.
even in the shade, if they have that blooming fertilizer, they will bloom pretty well. still.
Right.
Got
I've
a little
like-
encouragement from Carolyn. She says, "Don't let them get you down, Brian."
Carolyn,
See, they're on I got
don't
fans.
support
I've
him.
got fans. I got
She's
fans out there.
encouraging him.
Yeah,
And I speak not just for myself, but people who are afraid to come forward with the same problems. You have to be a spokesperson for the downtrodden. That's why Johnny Cash wore black.
For the Brian stands up for black thumbs everywhere.
Exactly.
Hey,
So-
I was wondering, the cuttings I gave you, did
Yes.
they root?
yeah. Well, yeah. As you know, with plumerias, they're leafing out,
Right,
And
but it
they are
doesn't
growing.
mean they're rooted.
That in a month they could just
Right,
fall over
right.
and die. So I think I won't know until next spring. But they did root. I mean, they did leaf out. And
So you
I'm
need
happy.
a stake
Yes.
to keep them from falling over during the winter. And then the thing you really have to watch out for is them rotting during the winter. Right?
Well, my young ones, what I do is I put them under my I have an outdoor patio that's covered, and I put them under that in the wintertime so that way they are protected from overwatering. So because that's probably the thing that kills plumerias the most is
Well, you should let them
overwatering.
dry out a little bit, if anything.
Well, that's
right?
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I let them in the winter. I let them like pretty much
You just
all
go.
dry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever have a fruit bowl at home?
Yes.
Carla's suggestion is that every now and then take a flower and just
Oh,
stick
that's
it
a
in the
good
fruit bowl.
idea. I like it. All right.
So it
I
makes
like
it look
that,
really
Carla.
tropical.
Yeah.
We're not looking at the flowers. Don't have a close up right now, but I was going
We
to
sure
mention
can,
that
if you want.
where the orange juice rose is, I think the bloom right next to the orange juice rose is Lord Byron, right?
Yes, correct. So
And
let me
the way you
point
can
to it.
tell is those petals are more rounded rather than pointed. And that one's really fragrant and one of the larger blooms usually. There you go. Yeah, I like that one.
John.
Now, my Lord Byron has not bloomed, but it's still a really little plant. But I'm hoping next year maybe.
You say Lord Byron or Lord Brian?
Byron.
Look at John. Shakes his head and laughs.
I was saying, oh, Lord Brian.
Please help me.
Yeah. But and then about the orange juice rose, that was one that I bought at the auction a couple years ago now.
There's another one in the auction this year, by the way.
Oh.
And people are really asking
Already.
For that rose.
I don't want you putting. They're kind of like baseball cards.
Don't
if
put
there's
it-
less
don't-
of them in production, it's more valuable.
Don't
to
put
me.
on there what Tiger wants.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
No, but it actually has 5 blossoms on it right now that look really, really good.
It's one of the orangiest oranges.
Yeah.
Right?
The oranges. I like that.
is.
No, but true because it's not like a gold or like a yellow. A lot of
Right.
times you'll see a yellow rose.
Right.
But this one
or
is
touches a gold.
This is
like I
orange.
mentioned.
this is an orange.
Yeah.
It's a legitimate orange rose. And it's a good grower and good flower producer. So, if you are interested in a good orange rose, orange juice is one you should look for. And if there's going to be one in the auction again this year, you have an opportunity to get another one. Man, I was trying to corner the market on it, John.
Also, that rose was bred by Jack Christensen, and who just died this last summer.
Oh.
And another one that's really hard to get, but I think came out around the same time, is pink lemonade.
Oh,
And that's one you need in your
is it
collection.
going to be is it going to be in the auction this year?
It is in the auction.
Uh-oh.
I think that's one you need.
You see Rick's question? Right above Carol, who we just
How are roses used in the Japanese garden?
Oh.
I would say they're not.
Interesting.
Yeah. But there are some roses. I would say if I was doing a Japanese garden,
Miniature roses
miniature roses?
in a Japanese garden. Why not?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I was thinking there are some roses by Japanese breeders, and I think that even though, like Seizo Suzuki bred some really formal hybrid teas, he also has some single flowering roses. So trying to think of the Awayuki. Awayuki is white single petals, and I think the simplicity of some of the single roses would fit into a Japanese garden.
Yeah, why not? I mean, are there really any rules?
Well, you can do whatever you want, right?
Well, you know what? You're one to talk because you do the same thing. You and I are the same. If it can't be done and nobody's done it, we're going to find a way to do it.
Well, you just do what you like. That's what a
Exactly.
garden's for, right?
Exactly. I mean, I think it's a good template. Take the template of a Japanese garden and then,
Take what you like and
Yes.
take what you don't want to make anything too difficult. You want
Right.
to make it easy, and
it should still scream Japanese garden.
it should.
And we're going to take a break on that because John
All right.
has a lot more to say on this topic and this subject. We've got him going, which is nice. So we're going to take a break both on Biz Talk Radio, Facebook Live, having a good time here on this Saturday morning, maybe Saturday afternoon, or you're listening to us via streaming, digital at some hour of the night. Could be 2 o'clock in the morning. We appreciate it as we take a break here on Garden America. Back with your garden buddies here on Garden America, Brian Main, John Bagnasco, Tiger Palafox. One of these days, I'm going to introduce John as Hall of Famer John Bagnasco, because I think
Hall of Famer?
Yeah, Hall of Famer John Bagnasco.
Just so you don't tell people to go to the John Bagnasco Memorial Garden.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet anyway.
Soon.
So we are back, and I know, John, you were in the middle of a conversation, and we got a couple more questions up on Facebook Live.
Well, there was a good tip here to remember from Lenore about plumeria. And it's really simple. I never heard this before, but it makes sense. No leaves, no water.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't have any leaves on the plumeria plant, do not water it and
Right.
avoid it's getting water if possible.
Because there's a reason why there's no leaves.
Yeah. Dormant, sleeping.
Don't force it.
Carla was asking if the iconic pink lemonade, which she just lost, and by lost she means died.
I like it. That's how gardeners are.
Right.
I lost it.
Yeah, she put lost in quotes. She knows where it is. It's just dead. But she asked if that's what I was referring to, and it's not. The Iconic series is a series of Halthemia hybrids. Most of those coming from, more recently, from Jim Sproul in Bakersfield.
And I think those are still in production, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are easy to find. But pink lemonade, I think, goes back to the 80s, maybe. And it's a spectacular formal hybrid tea. Just beautiful colors. If you go to Help Me Find Roses and search for pink lemonade, it'll come up, and you can see what it looks like. Really, really nice. And then Jimmy from Oceanside read the newsletter this week.
How many people out there read the newsletter? Let us know on Facebook Live. I did.
Tiger raised his hand. You didn't raise yours.
I did. I read it.
Did you really?
Absolutely. You got Sharon's back in there again. We've got the article on...
You always read the quote and decide from the quote whether or not.
the
I look at the
quote's on top.
background. I look at the background.
If it's
and
a good quote
background.
and a good background, then I toggle down and read the rest of it.
But there was an article on the shoe fly plant, Nicandra,
Shoe fly.
and it's an interesting plant because I read an article once that said the most beautiful plant you never planted in your garden because it'll come up as a weed sometimes. But I had it come up. The first time I ever saw it was in my garden in Fallbrook at my old house, and it just came up, and the plant looked really healthy and then had these beautiful blue blooms.
And you
I
had
thought,
nothing to do with it.
I had nothing to do with it. I thought, oh my gosh, what is that? And it's called the shoe fly plant because in some parts of the world, south the U.S., for instance, they make a chemical paste out of it that kills flies. And there used to be a rumor that it would repel whitefly. But as I recall, my shoe fly plant once had white fly on it. So I don't know if that part of it's
I think there's
true.
too many flies in the kitchen.
But Jimmy says he's had his for 20 years. He said it comes and goes. We'll come up from seed every year. So some people think it's kind of invasive. But it's hard to get blue plants in the garden.
Yep.
Blue flowers. And it really, really is pretty. And even though it will seed, they're so easy to pull out.
I was going to say it's easy to maintain.
Yeah.
Like I get it that it is kind of like, if you don't ever work in your yard for 10 years, it'll take over and that's not fun. But I mean, if you wanted to, you could easily maintain it. Yeah.
Jimmy also says, I hope you had a wild bee day last week.
Oh, yeah,
John was
did.
hungover for 3 days.
Yeah, you know how
Wednesday he started feeling better.
John is.
Somebody's asked me, what did you do on your birthday? And I said, movie and had a movie and dinner.
Nice.
And they said, really? Where'd you go? I said, well, we went to Froyo for dinner. So had a nice yogurt with mochi, speaking of Japanese. And for the movie, we watched Black Widow on TV.
Ah.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Hey, speaking of the newsletter, too, if you go to our website, gardenamerica.com, which, by the way, is a brand new, beautiful, interactive website that you've got to see to
I'm
believe.
telling you, our tech guy, John, over here has done wonders.
Right there on the homepage, it says sign up for the newsletter. And this is a great reason to sign up for the newsletter. Carolyn read it. She saw and read Sharon's article. And John does a wonderful job, all kidding aside. He does a great job on it. He's got these little funny little tools he works with that really inspires you to read the newsletter. It's pleasing to the eye.
It is.
It looks good, and it's informative. We've got pictures in there, and we talk about the upcoming guest and what to look forward to.
Yeah, and I mean, talking about the upcoming guests, it's a great opportunity to be able to click on all the links that we may be talking about during the interview. They're right there in front of you. If you need to click to their website for whatever they're talking about, or maybe there's a YouTube video, we'll post that in there as well about, a topic. So, a great way to learn more about gardening. Right.
As much as we like to drive you to our YouTube channel, which is important, same thing with our website. Go to our website, as John likes to say, www.gardenamerica.com. And the newsletter is there. There's articles, and as Tiger mentioned, links to a lot of stuff that we're doing. So gardenamerica.com and our YouTube channel, you'll make us very happy. There's no doubt about it.
Dana says that the newsletter is awesome with 2 exclamation points.
So that's going to be next week's quote for the newsletter. That's all. The newsletter is awesome. And Dana Monroe, Maine.
Yeah.
There you go. Rick wants to know if there's preferred colors in the Japanese garden.
Ooh.
Why do I think of pink comes to mind?
Yeah, camellias and azaleas.
Japanese, yeah, exactly.
See, I never think of pink.
Really?
The answer would be nature. The Japanese gardens imitate nature. So anything that you can picture in your mind, if you were looking at a natural landscape, are the colors that would be in the Japanese garden. You don't want anything that's going to be fluorescent or to stand out. Everything has to blend together. And when you're thinking of nature, you're thinking browns and greens, right?
Basically,
Earth tones for sure.
Right, but then you want, that can be dull and boring, so you want to add a little bit of color. Well, then think fall colors. So the colors you see in the fall, like some yellows and golds and reds, can also be worked into the Japanese garden. Yeah. There's Japanese red barberry, gives you a little bit of that reddish color. Pyracantha.
It's his
red
garden.
Berry.
It's his garden.
Yeah. Oh, the red one.
Berry.
I'm thinking orange.
Oh, yeah. They have the orange berry one, too, though.
But it's your Japanese garden. Make it and mine's going to have pink in it, so it's going to have the earth tones and pink.
You've seen, like, a lot of bonsai, like pyracantha and stuff, right?
Yeah,
I've seen those before. No?
I'm trying to think.
No?
I don't know.
It's not your garden, John.
Anyway, if you think of, I really don't think pinks.
I just think
never
just
pinks.
kind of like you see it, but you don't know where it is.
Do you think pinks when you think
Yeah,
of
because
Japanese garden?
when I think Japanese gardens, I'm thinking camellias and azaleas, and there's
Okay.
always reds and whites and in between. So
Okay, I guess what I was thinking of is hot pink. You wouldn't see hot pink.
No. And he
But
makes a
you
good
do
point
see
with the
cherry
whites.
blossoms, right?
Yes, cherry
blossoms are pink. Yeah,
yeah,
that's perfect.
there you go.
That's exactly what I'm thinking about.
Okay, now
But
John's
to
on board now, Tiger.
But
I'm on board.
But
I
to John's
know what
note
you're talking
too,
about.
like we were talking about with Marissa, is everything that they use is also kind of that earth tone. We're using bamboo.
Yes.
We're using stone. They're not going to have a retaining wall that's got stuccoed bright white or like
Right.
a bright color like you're saying. Like you might find in another garden.
Right.
It's all going to be kind of earth tones and let the plants do the talking for the color and aspects.
We're going to take a break. We've got 2 more segments coming up. Plenty of time to chime in on Facebook Live. Those listening to the pre-recorded broadcast on BizTalk Radio, thank you. Brian Main, John Bagnasker, Tiger Palafox, back after this break on BizTalk Radio. Just like that, back on Facebook Live and BizTalk Radio. Been a good show, a fun show. Thank you for tuning in. A lot of people tuned in this morning, according to our Facebook analytics. We do appreciate that. Even those who drop by and do the old drive-by, which may be a minute or so. We thank you for tuning in as well.
We were talking about Japanese gardens prior to the break, and Patty from San Marcos wants to know if Dainty Bess would be a good rose. For a Japanese garden, it's a great rose, but and it's a single, but I think too much color on Dainty Bess. It's a large flower, and I'm thinking maybe some more smaller flowers. But there's tons of single flowering roses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, as I mentioned, one of the common plants is azaleas. So, you want to, when I think of a rose, it might be something like an azalea as well. As far as if a rose looked like an azalea bush, then it could be one. But like you say, you don't really see roses in Japanese gardens too much.
Right.
But even though there's a lot of wonderful breeders that do breed roses. Yeah.
What else do you have for us, John?
I had a thought that almost disappeared, but I just caught it as I was leaving. I was thinking, Tiger mentioned azaleas. The azaleas that you really want to look for are Satsuki azaleas, which are Japanese azaleas that bloom later than regular azaleas. Regular azaleas bloom early in the year, and I think Satsuki means 5th month. So they're May bloomers, which is a little bit later. And they're all large flowers, and some have multiple colors on the same bush. We've talked about this before. But there are pinks in there. There's one bush that has pink, white, and striped all in the same bush. I think that's Tama no Hata, if I'm recalling correctly. But anyway, if you look up Satsuki, S-A-T-S-U-K-I, azaleas, you can find those. Now, if you're in an area that gets too cold in the winter for azaleas, there are the hybrid azaleas that are deciduous. We don't grow those in Southern California because they actually prefer colder weathers.
Right.
But the deciduous azaleas are spectacular when they bloom because they bloom with no leaves on the plant. So you can imagine
That's interesting look.
a Japanese garden with these twigs just loaded with color.
Yeah.
Azalea blooms. And
Yeah.
and then rhododendrons can tolerate more cold as well than the normal azalea, right?
Right. And
I mean, they can.
rhododendrons, there's some smaller leafed ones that go great in over rocks and down by the water.
But they can't
Japanese
tolerate
gardens.
like the deciduous azalea. Like they're not that cold, but they're a good in between.
It depends where you are.
Uh-huh.
We grew them when I lived in Michigan.
Oh wow! I didn't think they would survive.
Wow,
that.
that's cold.
Yeah, that is cold. So
If you had come with us to Scotland,
yeah, I would have seen.
you
where
would have
azaleas-
seen rhododendrons that were 25 feet tall in full bloom.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine a colder place in Scotland.
and they're just doing fine.
Yeah, they were doing great.
Yeah, because rhododendrons are one of those plants that you don't see here in Southern California a lot
It's too hot.
because it's too hot.
Right.
But they do well, and they give you that impact because, like the azalea, there's a lot of range in their flower color, and they get really big blossoms as well, which is kind of neat.
Yeah. And again, all different sizes, any from little miniature rhododendrons all the way up to, there's actually tree rhododendrons, wide leaf ones. I think rhododendron macrophylla is one.
How old did you brought in a plant a while back, and it was a compact boxwood, was it? And how many years old was it? Do you remember?
That was about 25 years old.
Okay, because when I was at the Friendship Garden, they have their bonsai section, and they have little notes about how old those bonsais are.
Yeah.
And there were some that were 45 years old and 20 years old, and I was trying to think of what yours look like compared to these ones. And you didn't even bonsai it.
Right.
These ones have been truly bonsaied in there.
It just was, yeah.
And then this is yours, just full on growing the way it is. It could easily fit in with these, and it wasn't even a bonsai. That was pretty neat. Yeah.
I brought in, I think, the Hokkaido elm. I don't know if I brought that in or
Can't
not.
remember.
But anyway, that was 50 plus years old.
Gee.
And it looks like a bonsai, and I've never done anything to it. You should grow one of those. I'll get you a little one, Brian. In 50 years, it'll look like the one I have.
Yeah.
And then we can, after 50 years,
And
we can discuss it,
Yeah.
talk about it. What else? I think we're caught up on the questions, the
Are we?
comments.
Perfect.
Japanese iris seems to fit in purple and white.
Yeah,
Interesting
that's
foliage.
Kathy and Neelan was mentioning that.
So, then as far as this time of year in the nursery, transitioning from the fall time of year into Christmas, the plants are starting to switch out. So you're starting to see your pansies, you're starting to see your snapdragons, your kales, viola. Trying to think of what other winter flowers for Southern California we're starting to get into. The
Iceland
nursery.
poppies,
Iceland poppies,
stocks.
yeah, stock. Yeah, so right now is a great time of year to get that jump on fall, not fall color, but and not in the sense of oranges and yellows and reds. You can definitely get those, but if you are transitioning those petunias and other plants out of, they're starting to look bad and shabby. Now is the time of year to start planting those other plants because people are waiting for that. That's the bummer in Southern California is you have this gap and people go, my petunias aren't looking good. My summer flowers aren't looking good anymore, but it still is a little too warm for the fall winter flowers. Well, we're getting to that point now where you can start planting those. I planted some pansies just last week and they're doing great. So, yeah.
My sweet peas are about over a foot tall now.
Wow. Mine haven't came up from seed now. I have an area where they are naturally growing.
Yeah.
And they haven't came up yet.
That's what happened to mine.
Yeah.
They just wherever they were, they're everywhere now, and I didn't plant them, so I'm going to just let them grow.
Just let them do their thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see. I told you last year when I planted them, I waited too late to go to the garden center, and there were very few packages of seeds left. So all I could get was, I think they were a pastel pink, solid rather than mixed colors. And sweet peas, I like some of the brighter colors.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see that now that these are coming back from seed, if they'll be mixed or if they'll be the same thing.
Always something to look forward to.
There's always something to look forward to. I have a lot of, again, something that's a little bit too late, but had the, what is vinca called? Is there a common name for vinca?
Vinca?
Yeah.
Periwinkle.
Periwinkle. I had the periwinkles are coming up from seed everywhere now, but this is the time of year where they usually go kind of dormant, right?
Right.
Because they like the really hot weather. The other thing coming up from seed is, I can never remember the genus of this plant, but the Mousetrap Plant. Remember I brought in
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
the seed pot for that. I had before I brought in the seed pot, I had planted the seeds, and 2 of them have germinated.
Nice.
And that plant is almost impossible to find. So if both those grow, let's see, 2025, that'll be your guy's Christmas present.
John likes to look ahead and plan for Christmas.
Well, I like how he's definitely planning ahead, Like I'm wondering what's 2024.
Question here on Facebook Live: when to plant spring bulbs?
Spring
Now.
bulbs. Yep.
Right now.
Yeah, we talked to Melinda about that a week ago, 2
Right.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The but if you're in Southern California, make sure that they have been
Chilled.
chilled
Chill for how long?
for 6 weeks.
Okay.
If they're if they're traditional Holland type bulbs, tulips, hyacinths, crocus. If you've got daffodils, they can go right in the ground. You don't have to chill those.
Yeah,
But
and chilling is in a paper bag in a refrigerator,
right.
right?
Now, those 3 bulbs, if you're in Southern California, I would actually wait till maybe 1st of December to plant, end of November, rather than right now. Because, as we mentioned, at least in Fallbrook next Thursday, it's going to be 88 degrees.
Which means probably low 80s for us, Tiger, down here,
Yeah,
or so.
right.
Still warm.
But yeah, regarding the chilling, also, and I've heard both sides of this, but I just recommend the paper bag just because it's a little bit more natural, breathable. Like if you were thinking about these bulbs were in the ground, they wouldn't be in a plastic bag
With no air.
because some
No
people
air.
will just put them in a plastic bag, and people
Right.
say, "Oh, it's not a big deal," and I don't know. I kind of feel like it does suffocate them in a
Anything that
in a
lives, you're all
plastic-
for breathing.
Well,
yeah.
it holds moisture, right? So
Yeah.
if you got a ton of moisture in there, and in your case, Tiger, it would be February. You go, oh my gosh, I forgot about those bulbs.
Right.
They might be rotted, right?
Right. And so, a paper bag or something breathable is really important. And then just in the refrigerator in one of the veggie bins is all that you need to do.
All right, we're going to take a break. We have one more segment coming up. Still time for your questions, comments on Facebook Live. And those on Biz Talk Radio hanging in there with us. We do appreciate that. Garden America continues. We've got messages coming your way if you are tuned into Biz Talk Radio. Stay with us. We have made it to that point of the show, just like that. Quick show. At least it seems like that here on this side of the mic as we're having a good time this morning. Again, this is the final segment as we continue. If you're listening to us back east on Biz Talk Radio throughout the Midwest, we say good afternoon to you. For the rest of us, good morning. And again, be sure to go to our YouTube channel, Garden America Radio Show. Like us, subscribe, share too with your friends. And go to our website, gardenamerica.com. You'll see links, articles, just a wonderful place to hang out for any period of time right there on gardenamerica.com.
You know how many comments we have on our Facebook feed right now?
How many do we have?
39.
39.
There's a lot of chatter going on right there.
Good. Chit, chat, chatter. We love it. Keep us going. Keep us awake.
Yeah, that's fun stuff. Good interest.
I was thinking about trees for Japanese gardens because you normally think of pines, right?
Yep.
Pines that have been clipped. But Lenore had pointed out persimmons, depending on the size of the garden. And we already mentioned the flowering cherries.
Yep.
And there's some smaller trees for colder climates, like Japanese snowbell. It's a really pretty tree. Again, pink flowers.
Pink. It's all about pink, John.
The San Diego garden, and somebody had asked, I can't remember who it was, about the canopy, being able to have a canopy in the garden to have other plants.
For shade, right?
For
I
shade.
think Rick was asking
Yeah,
about that.
and it is true that they do that in some areas. And I don't necessarily know how Japanese this tree is, but they had a lot of the Chinese flame trees, the Colateria, right? As an over canopy in a lot of areas, which we know does really well here in Southern California. It gets beautiful blossoms on it, and it's a deciduous tree. So that was one tree I saw that they used a lot in the San Diego garden is the Chinese flame tree.
A tree I always wanted was the Japanese raisin tree.
Raisin?
Have you ever sold those?
Is it a prune?
No, Halesia.
No.
It's the plant flowers in the stem between the peduncle, like between
okay.
it thickens up, and you can eat that like a raisin.
Really?
Yeah, and it's so uncommon that I've never seen one. But I would really like to. Maybe it's a colder climate plant.
We don't talk about peduncle enough on the show. I know that we get emails.
Yeah.
When are you guys going to
It's
talk
a
about the peduncle?
critical aspect of all
Absolutely.
fruiting plants.
Kathy points out about dwarf conifers, and there's a whole range of dwarf conifers, especially if you're in cold climates.
Yeah.
But even San Diego, where it's warmer, we still have a lot to choose from.
There's nothing cooler than walking into the conifer section of a like Pacific Northwest or North nursery and seeing the variety of conifers out there and needle structure, and you know, some are spiky, some are soft, some are gray and blue, and
even variegated needles, colored needles, blues.
So, and it's just so funny because it's nothing that we have, so that's why it's probably. But meanwhile, those people that live up there are like, yeah, it's a pine tree.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, used to it.
I was last week. I've been trying to clean out my roses, pull all the weeds out of them, and things like that, and cleaning up an area to lay down some weed cloth. And the most common weed at my house right now, other than Japanese spurge, speaking of Japanese gardens, is palm trees. I am just pulling
everywhere.
Those plants
in the roses,
even in the roses. Yeah,
I thought you didn't have any palms now, though.
No, the birds are dropping
have any,
them.
but they're coming from next door, I think. Yeah, they've got some tall Washingtonias.
Yes, I remember.
But do you think the birds?
Yeah.
You think so?
Wind, birds.
I don't
right?
think the wind, because usually like a Washingtonia, right at the bottom of it, you'll see them just everywhere.
Right.
So the fact that there's no Washingtonia there, it's got to be, like you're saying, birds. I don't think wind can push them that far.
I don't know. My garden reminds me of I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, of the Little Prince. And the Little Prince used to go out, and he lived on a very small planet. Do you remember that story, Brian? And he would check the weeds every day and pull them out. And the reason he had to check is because every now and then you might have a baobab that took root, and the baobab would just destroy your planet, right? Because they're gigantic trees. So, and that's what's happened at my house. Because I've had these palm seeds that, a year ago I didn't pull them out, and now they're 3-foot palms.
Oh, gosh.
And the same thing with a couple willows and eucalyptus, that this time last year they were just little weeds that I could have grabbed.
Saplings that
could have grabbed hold of them, pulled them out.
I know this year I've had
trees.
A lot of random weeds everywhere, just different kinds. So last year I didn't have that.
It's either that or ocean forest manufacturing plant is surrounded by Washingtonias, and now you're getting a bunch of seeds in the potting soil there, John.
A cousin it plant. We talked about that before.
Ooh, acacia, right?
There's two cousin it plants. One is acacia, and the other is some type of conifer. But similar appearances, but those would be really cool.
Or an agonis. Is it an agonis? There's the peppermint tree agonis, and there's the agonis flexuosa. Isn't there a cousin agonis too, or no?
I've never heard of it. If there is, but it's possible. Rick wants to know if we think Monterey cypress would grow in Boise.
I don't know.
What do you think?
Huh? What do you think?
Iffy.
I think because of the heat.
Yeah.
It might be a problem.
Yeah. That area is a very mild cool, and it does get hot.
Monterey, it doesn't get
not
Boise hot, not 110, 115.
Yeah.
I'm trying to baby cedar of Lebanon at my house, and there's one that's a little bit hardier for colder weather. I've mentioned this before, that I got this plant, and I noticed that, speaking of variegated needles, now half of them are brown. And I don't know if it's going to survive.
Guys, that's it.
Good show.
How about that?
Lots of fun.
Yes. And
Thank
a lot of people hanging in there from the beginning right until the end. So we appreciate that. Don't forget to go to gardenamerica.com. Please click around. Like our page, like our Facebook page. Go to our YouTube channel, Garden America Radio Show. Like and subscribe and share with your friends. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And your week coming up, we'll be back again next week for the entire crew. And I mean everybody. John Bagnasco, Tiger Palafox. Want to give Daniel a shout out too, our IT guy, Daniel, doing a great job. When you go to our Facebook page, our YouTube page, and our, what's the other one? YouTube, Garden America, Facebook.
And website.
And website, all those pages. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for watching and listening to us here at Garden America. Have a great week and be safe. Take care.